And we've said this to people before because we want them to understand that, like, we both come out of, and Patrick, you come out of Catholicism, right? So, like,
Heck yeah.
I'm sure it comes like the same to you. If you don't laugh, you'll cry like all the time. Like it is to the point where you just want to be like, I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Yeah. I've given my testimony before for the high school group, and of course, any group that I talk to, I always want to present a gospel message. But just talking about the ritualization of the sacrifice of Christ again, week after week after week, I always kind of get choked up on that, just understanding not only the blasphemy of it, but just the hopelessness of it. But there are millions and millions of people that still continually believe that this is their only hope of lifting them up for that whatever period of time. And they could go out of the church right after taking communion, stub their toe, take the Lord's name in vain, and boom, they're on their way to hell again. Why not just stay in church and continuously eat wafer crackers for the rest of your life?
Yep, seriously, is so that's so hopeless sounding. Just like you said, that just there's no hope in that. And even just to hear the stories of like what they do with the wafers, like what if you throw up? Well, there's
because they have to like put it in this little hole to bury it.
Yeah. The sepulchre too. There's actually an old story that you probably should dig up because it involves bees and honeys, where a peasant farmer takes one of the communion wafers and puts it into his bee farm to bless the bees because it's Jesus, and the bees stopped producing honey, and he had to go out and opened up the beehive and found that they were all bowing down in worship to the communion wafer. It was a true story. And so they had to get the priest out to come and remove it. But I want to know, like, what did they do with it? They're like, oh, all right.
Right?
What? Wow, that's literally the holiest little piece of bread in the world.
I mean, it is the body of Christ. It becomes transubstantiation into the body. And we can call down Christ from his throne that he sits on, that Hebrews 1 tells us that, he ever lives to give intercession for us there. But no, a man has the ability to call him down. And how is that not blasphemy?
Right.
Exactly. I mean, that's like referring to Jesus as bro, Like,
yes.
Oh, gosh. My boyfriend.
Yes. Yeah. And in both situations, you have people who think that they are in command of Jesus Christ, because in the Word of Faith movement, everybody thinks that they're God, they're little gods. They're going to be able to tell him.
That's a
great
point.
You don't ask, you tell him. And and here in Catholicism, you have them calling down, and that can be really, really difficult day in and day out to consider these things, or to know people that are in the Catholic faith. Like our brother Tom over at Ex-Catholic for Christ, I talk back and forth to him all the time about how he's having to read these things, he's having to address these things, he's having to read their books and everything, because then he takes them apart and explains them. And I'm like, this must be really difficult for you to have to continue to go back and forth. And he's like, it really is. But it's worth it to him, because at least he's able to do this. But for all of us involved in ministering to people who are stuck in cults or cult-like churches, it does get really, really heavy. Like, it can be heavy on you. So we try to lighten it up with some laughs. But boy golly, if you were not raised in a cult or a false church, and you just grew up happy pappy Baptist land or whatever it is, you're not going to understand why we want to laugh a little bit.
Yeah, I think we get some of the biggest pushback from people that are been Reformed for a long time.
Yeah,
but they have no idea the stuff that we come out of. Some of them won't even know who Brian Houston is, Bill Johnson.
Which doesn't that still always trip you up that you're thinking of a different Bill Johnson? So you're like, wait, what did he say? Oh, nope, a different one. Okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Every time, like with Phil Johnson, and he'll come on, I'll be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No, okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I know. And Bill Johnson or Bethel's starting to promote more of their stuff, and it keeps getting my recommended. And that's new that they've been doing that.
They just want you to debunk it more. That's it. It's only helping you.
It's just out there now. So
that's a good point.
Lord, we could watch one, and then we can break it apart.
No, I watched 5 minutes of him, and my ears bleed. I can't do it. I just can't listen to them.